Hey guys, in today's genealogy video, I do have to do this. I want to talk to you about the actual reports. It depends on how you do them. Okay, this is an Ancestors report. Okay, this is a Descendants report, which I actually kind of like better because it goes backwards. It starts at like great grandpa, and it goes down to you. This one, Ancestor report, starts at you and goes down. When I first saw it, I was a little confused because I'm used to the Descendancy reports, which are, well, this particular one is large. And that may have been why he did this. These are two different families, by the way. This is my mother's Cox family. This is Jan's. Thank you, Jan. This is from Metcash. I can't remember his first name. I think it's James. And no, Richard. Anyway, so this goes down to, this starts at like his grandparents, I do believe, and goes down to our mutual third great grandparents. I have a email address on the back here. Some other, they look cryptic, but they're really not. Their numbers for, I'm going to assume for Big G cereal sweepstakes there. Now, this one starts at first generation. And I guess that's what confused me, because this says generation 1. Well, it's not generation 1, because if you go back, that's generation 1. First generation that you have in is generation 1. Also, you'll notice in genealogy software, I like Roots Magic, I like Family Tree Maker. I like them both. You'll notice that you have what's called a home person. In Family Tree Maker, there's a little picture of a house next to them. My mother always made me the home person because I was related to both sides. So in our trees, I am the home person. And what I tried to do when I was making trees for other people is made that person the home person. They're like base camp for the tree. First person in the tree. And the first person in the tree will automatically be made the home person unless you change it. Even on Ancestry. But actually on Ancestry, you can go into the tree and tell it which person you are in the tree and whether you're the home person, whatever. It's hard to explain without looking at it, but basically this tree here that Jan gave us, I'm trying to look to see how many generations it covers. Because you don't always want, those are sources, that's a good thing to have. We usually put ours with each one, 7 generations. That is 7 generations. And if we were to print ours out, it would be even bigger. And we have done it. Don't take anything you find online as gospel. Oh, I have got dough stuck to my arm. That is so funny from our other video. We will be shooting part 2 of that soon. I actually would have put part 1 up, or at least started uploading it, if it hadn't been for the fact that Terra Calico froze. So I had to do it again. I had to restart the computer and do it again. So part 2 is in editing, Part 1 is in editing, I'm sorry. And I will be switching accounts as soon as Terra Calico's done here in a few seconds. And putting up the first video from this morning, which I'm calling Channel News. So, anyway, the way you read these is, I like the Descendants report better. It's just the opposite, though. This is the first generation that we know about in this family, as far back as we could go. Okay? And then there's notes for him. And then there's a little note about the family itself. And then more of that note about the family. And then his name appears again, and he wrote out the census. We didn't write out every single census. We noted them, of course, but we didn't literally write them out like he did. Again, he goes through every single census. Then you have children of John and Mary. Now, the interesting thing about John Cox's wife, Mary Lawrence, is that it was said that she came or was heir to something called the Lawrence Tunley estate. Well, this turned out to be complete and utter BS. The whole Lawrence Tunley estate turned out to be complete and utter BS, and I'll link that. Let me write that down. Okay. I wrote down to link that story. Yeah, it turned out to be, like I said, complete and utter BS. So there was no such thing. But anyway, it shows their children in more detail down here. Then there are notes for each of the children. Then you go into the next generation, which would be their oldest son to start. And then we go through the rest of the children and their children, which is what the second generation is the children of John and Mary and their children. But then the third generation will go into more detail about their children. Hold on. Starting from the oldest child. Generation 3, here we go. There it is, Generation 3. It will start with, wait, that's at Generation 2. Oh, Generation 3 started down here with the next John. They have as many Johns in the Cox family as I have in the Wilson family, I'm telling you. So I have Johns everywhere, I can't escape them. Wouldn't name my son John at this point. I kid you not. And I love my Uncle John Dale. But yeah, no. Too many in the family. All sides. Tons of John Wilsons, tons of John Coxes, got John Dale Schmidt, little John Dale Schmidt, who's not so little. Yeah, too many. And yeah. You also have to keep in mind, and I think I mentioned this to you, and it's a good thing to keep it in your charts. So keep it in your genealogy. And in fact, Family Search is a place to do just that. I haven't found it in Roots Magic yet, but you want to be able to put in a nickname, because some people are known by a nickname. I'll give you a couple of examples in my family. My father is Robert Wilson Jr. He's known as Willie, and I told you before, I put Willie in quotes in his obituary. So it's Robert, Willie in quotes, Wilson Jr. Otherwise, half the people wouldn't have known who the heck it was. I know that. I mean, obviously, my grandfather was called Bob. My dad, when he was little, was called Bobby, and was always called Bobby by his family. his Wilson family mostly, not the Hemingway side, although his sister on the Hemingway side did call him Bobby. Actually, all of his sisters did. His brothers, however, both called him Willie. Well, except for Uncle Richard. Uncle David was the only one that called him Willie. Come to think of it, I think Grammy called him Bobby too. If I remember correctly, I believe she called him Bobby. Anyway, then you have another example is ladies both in my Irish family and in my French family tended to use their middle names. So you want to write the name Ida Delia Hemingway or Ida D. Hemingway, and then somewhere write that she went by Delia. Because otherwise, you'll be looking at her gravestone like I was. What the heck is this with Uncle Dick? So you just have to remember to note that, especially for future generations. It's so important. And that is a part of reading these, is knowing the names. Also, you want to note, well, like I said, Mariah Louise went by Louise. So you do Mariah L. or Mariah Louise, and then you write in the notes, and Ancestry gives you notes, you can write it in, that she went by Louise. It's very important because people will be looking for people and they may have given their nickname in the census. And you may never find it because you didn't know what their nickname was. Like Lizzie Brennan Lockwood never went by Elizabeth. All of her census records are under Lizzie. Now that was pretty easy to figure out, but there's a lot. And you can have names that are completely different, and you don't know where they got them from. I got one in my French family. I believe she went by Eliza at one time, but her name was I can't pronounce it, but Elena, something like that. But it wasn't Eliza, but it was the same dates. So they were able to find it at the town hall. I mean, there are a lot of examples of that. A lot of examples of people going by their middle names. They didn't like their first name, or tradition among certain peoples. Like I said, the Irish, the French would go by middle names. So, and I'm going to let you know right now, looking for death records or any kind of vital record in California is a big old pain in the, yeah, big one. Big Kim Kardashian-sized pain in the rump. I mean, ridiculous, because they do it by county. And you can't call anyone. And the cities are so damn big. It's just, it is, like I said, it's a Kardashian-sized pain in the rump. It's a pain in the rump that size, I'm telling you. Just to warn you ahead of time. And some organizations, some people aren't going to be nice, and some organizations are going to be real idiots. I contacted, because I was looking through, they had this particular organization, and I'm not going to put them on blast, had the, well, you know what? Yes, I am. The, Tara's up, had the records for New York City, Manhattan, up on their website. But they were for Italian heritage. I am of Irish heritage. But I found James Dalzell and Mariah Louise Wilson's son, Thomas, who had died as a child, in the records that they had. Well, I contacted, I didn't contract anybody, contacted them, and they, Excuse me. Wouldn't help me. Wouldn't help. I was like, really? And they were rather rude, actually, about it. So that's why I'm putting them on blast. But you have to deal with that. And you'll also, if you make cold calls like I do, you may have to deal with some less than friendly people. And that's okay. I don't expect everybody to be friendly, you know what I mean? Going. Okay, that's shared on Facebook. Blogger. I'm trying to do this and talk to you at the same time. Because I want to get the other one started. At any rate, publish, confirm, and so you have to be prepared for that if you're willing to make cold calls. Not everybody is. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. Truthfully. I get excited when they actually want to hear it and they want to learn and want to help me, but it doesn't bother me if they kind of get upset with me. I'm like, oh well, you know, because it is what it is. You can't control someone else, you know, and as long as you're pleasant and not rude, then it's not on you. Not at all. Unable to display some videos. Retrying in 5 seconds. Okay, your channel. Oh, I don't want to be here. Oopsie. I wanted to switch channels. There we go. Okay, guys. Switch count. I love that this makes this so much easier, guys. At any rate, you cannot let those things bother you if you're going to make cold calls. But cold calls and cold emails are how you end up with these puppies. So, and this doesn't look like much, but there's a hell of a lot of information here. Oi! This is going slowly. Why is this going so slowly? Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. That automatically comes up. Okay, here we go. Click. Upload. I hope you enjoyed the DNA video, by the way. I can do more if you have more questions. You know, I was thinking about my mom last night. I think about my mom quite often. And I was thinking about her and I almost cried because I was watching, and this is why you want to get to know people in your tree. Find little stories about them, newspaper articles, whatever you can find, stories from older people who knew them. Because my mother loved cows. Cows were her spirit animal. I swear they were. And the sloth is mine. But I also love cats. I love virtually all animals. And anyway, my mom loved her cows. She grew up on a dairy farm in Maine. And I started watching not long after she died. Somehow, I got into watching hoof trimmers. the Hoof GP, Tech TV, and Midwestern Hoof Trimmer. I don't know how I ended up there, and I feel like Mom led me there, you know? Because they love the cows and care about them and want to take care of them, don't want to cause them pain. And they wince when they cause pain, even though they know they're helping, you know, and all of them. And I feel like my mother led me there, you know, and I think our ancestors do lead us places, which is where I was going with that sideline. Our ancestors will lead us places. My great-great-grandmother kept leading my mother back to Sturbridge. My death certificate is there, damn it. And my great-great-grandfather kept leading her back to Sturbridge. My death certificate is there, damn it. She found him. I got led to my great-great-great-grandparents' stone in the cemetery in Maine. Ended up right in front of it. Now, some people may not believe that, and some people may say, how can you be a Christian and believe in all that hocus pocus? It's not hocus pocus. I truly believe that it is through God that they do that they lead us. I don't think it's some kind of supernatural thing. It's God allowing our loved ones and our ancestors that we never met to lead us to the answers when we're doing genealogy. And there was an excellent segment on Unsolved Mysteries about just that. The old Unsolved Mysteries. I can't link it because I don't think I could find it. Maybe I can find something about it. Because it was neat. So let me do NPWS. And I'm going to do images. This is how I get my images for my thumbnails. I just search. Oh, I like that. That's perfect. Please be a JPEG. Pretty please. Thank you. And I click the thumbnail. I click the pictures. Save pictures. And I get news. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. And then click news. We're done. 22 minutes and it'll be up. Well, like I said, you want to get to know these people, and that's why the notes are so important, because they're things that people have learned from other people about people. And I try to find pictures. You know, when I found that picture of Parmenas Dyer, I was like, face to a name. You know, that is my great-great-great-grandfather. And it's like, holy crap. We knew the article with the picture existed, but we could never find the picture. And I just happened to find a guy who had the magazine and asked him for the picture. He sent it to me along with a picture of the entire page with the full article. And that's what you have to do. You can't be afraid. Even though the person was selling the whole magazine for $5.50, I asked him about one thing. And he obliged. He just asked me to write back to him and tell him exactly which one it was. And you'd be amazed. And one of the places you get the best information, I've told you this before, is funeral homes. And generally it's free. Also on these, naturalization, any of that stuff. Family Search lets you choose which things you want displayed. you want to add based on the person. So you can go in and pick and choose. It's one of these things where you got a block here and a block here. You put them in here, and then they're all listed here, and then you click here in the middle to push them over here to where they'll be in your display, and you can add that piece of information. And there's a lot that you can add to the display. And that's something that will show up in your reports. But you can make reports and turn them into a PDF and send them on a disk. That's going to be a hell of a lot easier than doing this, because I'm telling you that is a full ink cartridge and almost a full ream of paper. So yeah, you don't want to have to do that. Fortunately, I now have toner, so they're like, I'll show you, as a matter of fact. And I highly recommend this if you're doing genealogy, because you're going to be printing out a lot of records, because it's cheaper than going to the town hall and paying $20 for a record. This is the toner cartridge. This is the cover. It's wrapped in plastic at the moment because it's new. This is the cover, okay, that comes off, plastic cover that comes off. I usually try to put it on the old one just to protect anybody from getting a mess, specifically me. This is the microchip. That's important. That tells the printer this is full. And I say that because my friend, you can get refilled ones, but you have to get ones that are re-microchipped. Okay? But I do recommend this for genealogy. They're very easy to put in and take out. You have a handle right here. Right here. Pull out. Don't touch here, because you will be a mess. Just slide it in and slide it out. That's it. Really easy. So, just wanted to show you that. That's my last one, actually. I need to get some. But it's not in yet, so we're good there. So anyway, I am going to see if this is editing. Oh yeah, this is editing. Good, 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 good. And it's got 17 minutes left, so that's great. We're doing great. I am going to check those, I almost called them cookies, decorations. Don't eat them. But that's what I wanted to teach you about reading these, was just, and about making them, is making sure that you are as transparent as possible where you get your information. Ours is amazing that way. I try to remember to put, this is the source information here for some of the people. But most of the source information is going to be right under the person. Just, you're saying it's out of a census or whatever. So that's very important, because a lot of people, myself included, prefer to look at trees that have sources. One of the things that I do when I'm on Ancestry and I'm looking at public member trees is I look for how many sources, how many records. It's listed right at the bottom of it. And I go for the one with the most records, the most actual records and sources. That's just me. Higher level of accuracy that way. Because I have had issues with accuracy on trees, and it messed up my tree. And I'm still fixing my tree. I still have 3 of the same person in my tree in a few places because of the way Ancestry does it. Oy, 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 oy. I do have a tree on my heritage. I have a tree on Family Search, but the tree on Family Search is entirely incorrect. Because the tree on Family Search was done when we thought person A was my mother's father, and it turned out that person B was my mother's father. So we have all of person A's information in instead of person B. So yeah, that's a mess that I don't want to deal with. What I might do is delete the tree and upload my tree from the Ancestry, which is the correct tree. So I might do that. I am going to go ahead and end the video. I hope you learned something. And I hope these genealogy videos really do help. And keep in mind, you don't need to speak another language, even if your lineage comes from another language, because you can find translated records, and Google will translate anything. So just about any website, go up in the corner of Google and it'll translate for you. So don't let that stop you. Fortunately, most of mine are English and Irish, although my Irish are Northern Irish, so they speak the Scottish form of Gaelic. They're actually Scottish. Which is another reason I feel like my mother led me to the Hoof GP and Tech TV in particular. Not so much the Midwestern hoof drummer. I actually was led to him by the Hoof GP. But because the Hoof GP is in Scotland and Tech TV is in Northern Ireland. So I get to listen to people who sound like my ancestors every evening, and I love it. And that's something you could do. Research where your ancestors came from. Try to figure out why they came here, what was going on. A lot of people will say, oh, your ancestors came here because it was a famine. My ancestors came here a little after that. So no. That wasn't actually why my ancestors came. But my ancestors came here for work. So, but like I said, I am going to end the video here. Again, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Please click like and subscribe. And the little bell for notifications. Check out my social media. And don't forget to go over to Kid Missing and check out the Tara Calico video that just went up. What a story that is. Bye-bye.